The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, folks. We got 12 attendees. If you would, raise your hand so you can hear me. That I know that you can hear me, I should say. We still have a few more people coming in. We're going to get that. While we're doing this, may I suggest you're going to make a left paddle and a right paddle. Okay? Now, let me show you what it looks like. I don't care what you make as your paddle, but you can make whatever you like, but go ahead and start laying out two paddles on this side. We're going to do a ball this way. We're going to look at ball speed and go to some more advanced topics on this. All right? If you can see my screen, raise your hand too. Let's make sure I'm not missing your screen there. Good. Looks like it's up. Great. Now, okay, let's see if anybody else here in a second. I'm going to put everybody's hands down. We'll kind of go through this whole code here a little bit in a minute. So there's a game start screen. Code when the game starts. When I receive game begins. You could do something there. Left paddle, right, left. And there's a couple stages. There's a backdrop. All right. This is called a splash screen. We're going to show you what that is in a minute. If you got any questions, go ahead and ask them. I hope everybody's been getting the recordings. And you're good to go. So, all right. All right, so folks, let's go ahead and let's look at the two-player game, and then we'll look at backdrops. All right. And there's also sounds if you want it, but we're going to go back over to more stages right now. All right. Let's look at this stage right here. You're going to have a ball. This time it's actual soccer ball. You're going to have a left paddle, right paddle, and don't worry about that at this point. That's all you're looking for. Let's just keep the code simple. All right. So this start off as you do all programming, simple. Just start off right now. Make that ball go back and forth this way. That the ball moves, it's going to go back and forth this way. So what ball direction needs to be in? We're going to start off very simple. Think about, can you make the ball go back and forth? And if it touches the wall, what should it do? I'm going to make code as if I was making it from scratch again. I've already got it. Here's the event you would use. For example, if we were doing this, I'm just going to put that up there, but I'll take it off in a minute because I don't really want to run it. I'm just using this as a code for you to see. So remember, we might point in a direction. We want it to go to the right. We might also tell the ball to go to a certain location. You can slide over to go directly. Let's just say I'm going to have the ball. I'm going to always have the ball start right there in the middle. I can look at my X and Y. In this case, I'm going to make X0 and Y 80. No, 45 is fine. Point in that direction. Then we'll have a loop. Go to loop. And you can simply have motion again. Moving 10 steps. If on edge, bounce. If I just click on that flag, it'll work. So that way you see me doing it this way. I'll take that off when we go to run all the code, but I'm pulling up there. Now let me just pull this up so you can all see it. So let me go right here. So look right here, folks. You've got go, that just sets this up. Notice that's outside the loop. And then you have, hey, go to this position, that X and Y coordinate. Let me turn that off again. Can I go to this X and Y coordinate with the ball? Watch, I'll click on it. You'll see it does. So always going to start off at the same spot. See how it started off? I can hit stop it to stop it there. And then I'm moving 10 steps, and if on the edge, I bounce. All right, click on an arrow. Okay, folks, if you've gotten to this point where that's working, please raise your hand so I know if I can go on. All right, I got a couple. Great. Give everybody a few more minutes. And if you aren't building your game right along with us, just raise your hand so we're not waiting on you. Because it's better if you are, to be honest with you. But if you can't, fine. All right. Now, all right. So the next thing we're going to do, and I know I'm doing a lot of pawn game, but this is really just to teach you all the different skills for programming. We're going to go to the left paddle. Now we're going to make another sprite with the kitty cat. So you would go into the kitty cat down here. You will not have to make sprites for this game. We will provide all sprites. All right. So I don't care. Pick something as a paddle. It doesn't matter to me. You could pick, something. I would maybe go things, or you could draw it. You can go into go through there and look for something that works. Also, you go into here, and that's not really what I want to do. Let me go here, and then I'm going to go to paint. So up this comes. Take a rectangle, draw it here. This color was red, or I could make it a little more like that if I want to make that to be the paddle. That paddle's a little bit big, so let's. And then you can convert, and then you can save it as a paddle. All right. All right. Costume. There's the costume for that one. And then if we go down here, it's in the code. So then I just go back to code, and it's still there. There's sprite 1. I would name this paddle 1. Now, here's the other thing you can do on this. Once you click on that, right-click on it. Let me see. Where do it says sprite 1 right here. I would do left paddle. I'm going to delete this in a minute, but I'll show you. Left paddle. Do that so you remember what you're naming things. You're going to find it really helpful. Cancel that. Okay, I'm going to put everybody's hand zone. Raise your hand once you have your paddle, because we're going to write some code to that. All right, good. Okay. So now you have paddle, and we want to ask the ball. We'll go back to our ball now, and we'll say, remember what we used for that? If it touches the paddle, change direction. Go ahead and try to do that right now. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Don't worry about anything else. Just get it. So if that ball hits that paddle, get it to change direction. Remember, I'm going to give you this. Here's an if-then statement and a sensing statement. If-then and some sensing. If I touch left paddle, right paddle, etc., right? So combine those two things. I'll give you 7:15. I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes. Just get it so the ball will hit and go in the opposite direction. Once you've got the ball hitting the paddle and going in the opposite direction, raise your hand. Be careful, as when we teachers, if you show them all the code, the kids do it, they think they know how to program. But they really don't know how to program until you can give them a statement like that and say, make the ball bounce, and they can sit down and figure out how to do it. Kids, keep it simple. All right. So got more than half, still haven't done it yet. Again, raise your hand if you don't have any intention to be doing this, so we're not waiting on somebody who's not there. And then for everybody else, I'll give you a moment or two. 7:17, another minute, just because of time. Got a few more people. I'm giving another minute or two, and then we're going to go on to the next part of this. I'll show you the code, and then we're going to the next thing. All right, let's go ahead. 7:18. So whenever I want to put code on a particular sprite, so I'm going to call that left paddle, here's what I'm going to say. Another event. All right. In this case, again, when the flag is spaced, but it could be other ways too, and we'll show that in a minute. All right. So when I click, I want this to go up and down, and I'm going to use my WASD keys. Well, let me go back to the ball. Sorry, I jumped up a step there. Let's go to the ball. We'll make sure it's set. So I'll click on this ball. In a minute, I'll show you how we might do the left key, and then you can do the right one. But so what I'm going to do is on this ball right here, I'm going to say, hey, this is going to be another control. It's an if statement, and do this. Make sure it's inside there. So first sensing is to go that. If touching, see how it's like that triangle shaped piece? If touching, we're going to call left paddle. And watch me, you've gotten it wrong here. So that seems right? Down here's my new left paddle, I believe. Yep. I have several here, so that's why I had a choice. And then all I'm going to do is say, well, wait a minute. If 90 degrees going that way, then I want to point in direction opposite of that. All right, so I'm going to point in direction. I'm going to put it in this direction. Negative 90. Now when I head it, watch what happens. Okay, I didn't need to do that. I can just see all these things show up. Watch. I should have just hit that. Oh no, it's slammed right in there. Boom. Okay, so stop. So let's move our paddle more this way. Let's go back to the ball. Let's just run this bit of code so it does it. Oh my, where's my ball? Did I just make the ball invisible, or what did I do wrong? That's interesting. Let's go to this. That's the left paddle. Let's go to the ball. I'm going to make, when you can't find the ball like that, I'm going to go 0. I'm going to stop this. All right. Then we go 0, 90. And I'm just going to go here. I'm going to cheat there. I don't want to do that. Shoot. I'm doing something stupid. Okay, so now it's back where I want it. Now I'm just going to click this here. So if touching the left paddle, then point in direction 90. It got behind her, and that's why I just kept running. So watch. Oh. If touching the left paddle, I'm doing something just dumb here, folks. If you see what I'm doing here, I appreciate it. Just go ahead. So point in a direction, if touching left point in direction 90, move 10 steps on edge bounce. Folks, I'm going to look at your questions. Maybe someone sees something I'm really doing is dumb, but we go ahead. We're going to hit it. I didn't want to do that. Let that go. See, it's starting to hold delay. It's running the whole program. I really don't want to do that. There we go. Now it's working. It's going faster and faster, but let's stop. Oh, I know why. I understand now what happened. This program hadn't been running. I gotta stop it when it ends. Okay, let's just run this. Huh. Could I hit that any more times doing that? I wonder why it's doing that. See, in this case, it's working. So apparently, my left paddle score is going just great there. In this case, I've named it the wrong thing because it's not working at all. So let me go ahead and try left paddle there. Let's try this. No, I'm not sure why it's doing that. Other than there's a paddle behind this gray paddle's messing it up. So let me do this. I'm gonna move this paddle over here and let's see what happens. Never tried to build a game inside there, so let's see what that does. All right, let's go over here. That's good. Nope. Let me look. Well, whatever. 0.90. That's right. If left paddle, point direction right. If touching right paddle. So let's do this then. That's saying go in that direction. I'm going to go back this direction. That's what I was doing wrong. Okay. Tom. Sorry, folks. There we go. I had to push it back to 90. I hit it backwards 90. The right paddle and left paddle. I apologize. So there it is. It is working. I had it 90. It was always pointing negative 90. Let me stop it. So watch what I did there. Okay. It says, starting the ball, we had this. If touching left paddle, pointing 90 this direction, not back that way. It was always telling the ball to go that way. I don't know what you were thinking. And if it doesn't touch it, just move in 10 steps. So that's what it's doing. Here it is. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Do the right paddle. If you'd be so kind, everyone, real quickly do that right paddle. I'm putting everybody's hands on. Go ahead and do the right paddle. Once you have it, raise your hand. Now, if you look at me, you're not going to get much out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the right paddle I'm doing up here. See, can you do it without me looking at it? We got to get going, and I took some important time. We didn't have to waste. So I'm going to do another if statement. I'm going to make sure I have a right paddle. I've got to create a right paddle. So there's left paddle. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rename this. Over here, they've kind of changed a little bit. Left sprite, we're going to say right paddle. I'm leaving it all lower, right? So this program is case sensitive because, all right, so that's right paddle. I'd put that over like that. I would go back over the ball. If right touching right paddle, I'm going to go back to sensing. Put there. Right paddle. And then I'm going to point Now I'm going to point in the direction I want to point. There it is. Ball's bouncing back and forth out to 2 paddles. All right. All right. Let me see how many people got bouncing off the paddle there. Any questions? Go ahead and pull down questions. Hey, did you make the paddle? Did you make the paddle? Yes, I did. Bounce one on scratcher. You made it. Don't need to bounce. Yeah, it needs to bounce off the ball. If it comes off the paddle, that's what we'd love to see it do. Again, I'm trying to get more. So, no, yeah, thank you, Sarah. Sarah said 90, not 90, negative 90. She's absolutely right on the first one. Okay. Now, we can start to do other things here. Okay, so we've got the ball. We have it bouncing back and forth. You almost need separate paddle scores, right? So say if we have the ball, but we more importantly, we need to move the paddle like I was going to do before. So I'm going to take the left paddle, watch this, and then you can do it with yourself on the other side, just like before. We're going to have that left paddle. When clicked, I'm going to say these things. I'm going to do this forever because I want to be able to move the paddle up and down. And I'm going to use WS for this. WS, W is going to be up, S is going to be down left paddle side on the up and down arrow keys on the right side. So I'm going to do kind of what we just did a moment ago. I'm going to take motion. All right. Well, I'm going to do control, excuse me, forever. That's another if then statement. If statement, F, when click, if, now here's where it's going to be a little bit different. If touching the mouse pointer, we're going to look for a key. Well, in this case, we're going to select the W key. See up and down arrow and all those. In this case, we're going to select the W key. And we're going to say, hey, if you press the W key, point going up, right? And then move 10 steps. And you can modify this. So if I run this, I can go generally, let me see if point direction, which one am I on? I'm on left paddle. What did I do wrong there? If the W key. So there it is. Except I just spun this totally around. You don't need to point in a direction, folks. I blew that. All right, let me stop that. Let's pull this out of the way. Let's do this over again. I'm just going to run this. The W key. It'll be that one. There it is. So I got the W key. I'm moving it over here. Let's get it back over there. I just played with that a little bit. We're not going to have any point in direction. Actually, all you really need to do on this is move 10 steps. So go ahead. I hit W. So that's moving back and forth this way. So why did it spin over? Let me go ahead and pull over. All right, let's try this. Try that one. I'm going to bring up this icon, see where it is, the center of this drawing is. Let me stop. Go to costume. All right. I don't want to do that. Oh, for goodness sakes, now. I'm hitting Control Z. All right, let's go out and find out why it did that. Because it does. Let's go ahead again, please. Let's go back over here to the paddle. Let's go to code. We'll do that. Point change. We're going to go up in 90 degrees. No, this time we're going to go up 0 again. I don't think I need to do that. Let's try this again. There we go. Got the paddle working. I'm not sure why it flipped over below. All right. If I want to go down, I'm going to go right over here. I apologize, folks. Go ahead, hit F here. Go ahead, hit sensing. Again, you're going to say another if-then statement. Then you hit sensing. Only this time your key spaced is pressed. This time it's going to be S. There we go. This time it's pointing direction down. We can actually copy this if we want, duplicate that, put them right down here, change this direction. If that was we're going to go. Now let's run this. See how it's going up and down? I'll even stop it. So paddle out. See, for some reason, and I'm not sure particularly why, this thing is rotating around. So what it's doing, so I can just redraw this paddle. I'm sitting there thinking, well, what would I do to do that? Go to costume. And so all you would have to do is, let's go down here. I'm going to delete this costume, basically. There's lots of ways to fix things. I think this will delete what I want to delete. Here. Going to erase all that. Erase that costume. I want to keep this costume, so I'm not going to. Then I'm going to do another one. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay. Go back to code. This is the most ridiculous one we've ever done. Whoops. I don't know why the code just deleted that. Control Z. There we go. Let's try that again. There we go. And it just flipped over. There we go. So it's pulling back and forth, up and down. Another object we could pull on it, but that will control the keyboard going up and down. Which is kind of wild. We're just getting the edge of it. And there might be, let's see this. Select 4. Let's set it here. When it has that. Try that now. See, that's going up and fine there, but it's interesting to me that when I hit S, it doesn't want to climb that one. I'll find out why. Guys, in version 2, I've done this game 1,000 times. Somebody have some suggestions. I'm very open to that. I will be posting why it was doing that. Is there any way to copy code? Just right-click on it and copy it. Duplicate. Can you copy the code to different spindles? Yes. And you can copy it, you can duplicate it, and then what you can do is, at least in old versions of this, you can take it and just drop it right in. Say I want to, drop it in the right panel. Now if I go to right panel, there it is. So there you go. That answers that. All right, what other question? It's because you point the direction in the code. I get that, Pamela, but I thought I was pointing it up and down so I could get it to move up and down. So let me look at the code on it. We'll try again, because clearly I'm doing something wrong here. Pamela's got a suggestion. Let's hear it. Let's go over here. So if I take point in a direction, move 10 steps, move in 10 steps, the issue for me is if I don't point in a direction, how am I going to get this? When I click on this and we go ahead and hit W, what direction is it going to go into, right? Go ahead and click on this. See, now it's just going straight down. What's the weird thing to me? Oh, let's try this. That's going up, down. So I'm getting it moving, but still jumping around a little bit. There's something silly here I'm not doing. I must be doing something that's wrong with this, point in that direction. If I point in this direction, let's try now. Interesting. Now it's got a strange angle to it. So there's something, folks. I'll find out what that is. But at least you got the ball. I'm going to go back to my old code. That all works now anyways. So go ahead and do it on the next bar. You're just using a loop, hitting a key to press it around. And I will post to figure out why in the world it's doing that for. I will put up another YouTube video to figure that one out. Okay. Use change by 10 block. Thank you. Why by 10 block? You have rather 6510 for that angle. Let me go down and take a look at that. Thank you very much, guys. Let's go over here. Thank you. Yeah, there's 165. That would explain the angle. And, you know, instead of moving 10, let's do this. Someone just made this direction. Let's not use angles at all. Let's do it this way. Let's go motion. Let's do change Y. If I press the W key, it's going to go up. Let's change Y. I'm going to duplicate that. We're going to make it negative 10 instead of using move at all. Let's see how well this works. I like just moving X. There's my S key. Y still. Now that works. Interesting. Let's go ahead and start that. F. W keys, let's press it. If I press the W key, it goes up. And now this needs to be negative 10, not that. Let's press that one down. So use the change by Y. Don't try to use the move like I was doing. And if I look at my old code, I wonder what I was using there. Yeah, it's change by Y, negative Y. Don't use the move. Because it was apparently trying to do this X and Y when it does that. So change Y, this Y by 10, and this one by negative 10. So the one I just did, that was the problem, folks. I apologize. Change Y by 10, change Y by negative 10 for the left bar. So go ahead and do the right bar. And that bar, it would be the same kind of thing. Again, you do it forever. All right. And then you do these series of if-then statements. You have to have the forever, because if not, it'll go right through the if-then statement before you could even press the key. If I just said when click and then I did an if-then, right? So I had that if-then, and there was no forever loop. So I had if-then, and I did the sensing, if. In this case, it's going to be the up arrow key, because I've just said I'm going to make it up there, and then I'm going to move, change y by 10. No matter what I did, this I would never get there. I could never see how it immediately runs and ends. It turns yellow for a flash. There's no way I can react. But if I put a forever loop in there, inside there, now it has time. That when it's on, it has time, and then I can just do this. You see that immediately goes up. If I want down, I can literally stop this. I'm going to duplicate this again, drop this one in, except now I'm going to use the down arrow. I'm going to make this negative 10. Now when I run this, it works perfect. So this is something, we go back and review this so you make sure you understand how to do controlling objects, because in any game you're going to be able to have to do that. Okay. Now, let's go back and look at some of our other code again. So we have the ball, so it bounces back and forth off the pads. Remember when we did the red zone last time, so if the ball hits that, it dies. But let's start at the beginning of this whole thing. I'm going to get rid of the old paddles. Left paddle, delete that. Right paddle, I'm deleting that. I'm just getting rid of all that code. I'm going back to the beginning of this. So I've got a space bar. So let's stop right here. This is using, so we have this backspace, right? So let's go over what this has got. On our stage, that's one stage. So let's go over to stage. Switch backdrop. On stages, you switch backdrops. So when I click, the first second is blue sky stage. All right. Then after a second, it says switch blue sky case. When it changes to that. Then watch this. So it starts off NSO, Young Engineers of Today. Let's go old school. Press the space bar again. There it is. Now, this is when I receive game begins. That's a command that starts it. Switch back to North Carolina State 2. That's that backdrop. And we can start looking at different backdrops here. So look at all the backdrops we have there. Backdrop 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why it says 11 here. 9, 10, 11. So what it says, when this starts up, let's go to the event. Let's go to our events. When my flag clicked, that's usually when we click. But when the space bar is clicked, when the stage is clicked, when backdrop switches, you can do that. When, believe it or not, loudness on some, when I receive game begins, that was a message. Oh, when did I get that? That's broadcast, game begins, that. So, all right. So, let's go ahead and run this again. I want you all to see the beginning of this. Let me do that. And that's the space bar again. Let's go with this again. Okay, I just stopped the code so we could look at it. That's backdrop 11. When click, wait 1 second. So you're going to start with that backdrop, and then you're going to switch to blue sky. 1 second. I went too fast for us there. Let's try this again. Young Engineers Today, space. We'll stop here in a minute. So it's switched to, wait to switch to blue sky. Let me see what my choices are. Let's play Pong as 1. But when I receive game begins, I can go ahead and pop that. So let's take a little bit of code here. All right. That allows you, as we go through here, whenever I receive a message and I can switch it, I can do that. Now, I'm willing to bet when I go through the back of this, let's see, back to our stage. Let's go back over here. That's the original stage. We called it blue sky, in case you're wondering. And there's our code. And this is when I click, I get this. When I receive, game begins. So something else, somewhere else there, is sending out a message to do that. So there's when clicked, wait a second, switch to blue sky. But we could do NC State if we wanted to. See, there's no blue sky there. Let's go over to this. Wait a second, there that comes up. So that's when it starts. Then what we can do is send out a message, broadcast. We're going to wait another second before we do this. We're going to wait another second. We're going to broadcast game begins. So here we go. There it goes. It pops it off. Now we're in a vicious loop. There it pops off there. So when it gets that message, broadcasting begins, it shows this. It says switch to back to NC State. We're going to just take that off. All right. Let's go ahead and run that. And then it's got old schools. Press the space bar to begin. And there it goes. And when I receive this, I'm doing all this. When the space bar, I'm switching the backdrop again, back over. So it's kind of funky. This event occurs when you first receive, when the flag's on. I have a event. If I send a message, that's game begins. I can start it when the space bar. That's really all I want you to get out of it. There's multiple ways to start these games. Let me see if anybody's got them here. Any questions? All right, yes. Can you erase the arrow on the side? Yeah, there is a way to do that. That's just on my webinar software. How can you fix it if it goes in the ground on the edge bounce? Make sure you slow the ball down. Make sure the red wall is very far over. Does everybody raise your hand if you understand the broadcast message? That's the thing I want to make sure. I'm going to put everybody's hands on. Raise it if you understand the broadcast message and receive broadcast. Because in almost all games, there's a splash screen. You got to use the broadcast message. Okay? Now, that game's really going crazy now. Okay. So you hit the space bar again. You're going to notice set ball speed. There's going to be a bunch of things going on with this thing once you go into that broadcast message. Let me go back over here. It's going to show left paddle. It's going to show all these scores. So they disappear at the end of the game. So those, notice when we did that broadcast, it brought up the left paddle score, right paddle score, and ball speed. Over here, you can see set ball speed to 5, right paddle score to 0, 0. You're zeroing everything out. Then it's doing this thing about, hey, if key space is pressed and you're touching the right paddle, then change ball speed by 5. That's kind of like a little cheat code for the person. This allows you, if you know how to play the game and hit the space bar, you've got a cheat code in there. So See how I slowed it down? It's so fast going the other way, but I put it down that way. All right. If touching the right paddle, point direction -9, you change ball speed by 1. Change right paddle score by 1. If I hit it with the right paddle, I do the same thing on the left. So every time I hit these paddles, so it's going over. Let's go old school. Press space bar to begin. There we go. And see how they're getting the score, and the ball speed is slowly getting faster and faster as we do this. That's because of this. Now, another thing we could do to this is we could say, you can actually go ahead and make lists of variables. So you get, so the ball says, ouch when it hits, ooh when it hits, boom when it hits. And that would require us making another kind of variable. Well, how are we doing in time? 7:53. I'll try to go through this a little bit fast. So in a variable, and I'm going to make, you have a variable when you only have one. When you have a collection of variables, we can make what's called a list. And we're going to say, ball says, is our list. Say, okay. Now we can add things to the balls list, and we can say things. Ball contains what thing, ball, length of ball. These are all variable rates to do this. So I can do to that balls list, you can do this at the start. That's the thing. I'm going to say, ouch. That's one thing. And then I'm going to just do another one. Yikes. Then what you can do in the game now is you can refer to this variable and randomize it every time. So item 1 of ball says, okay, so here's what you can do. You can do looks, and you can say something. Now, the thing we can't is we can't really slow down the game too much. So it's going to go up there. And we're going to put it in here under right paddle. Where's it? Where's a little weight here? I'm going to put a pause in this just when we go to do that. So I'm going to do a wait. So say hello. But instead of saying hello, we can go in there and we can say this. Adam 1 of Paul. It's going to say it. We're going to wait it. We're going to purposely slow the game down. So you see what we're trying to do. So watch. We go ahead and run this now. It'll start to fill up. We don't normally you wouldn't even put the ray up here. And let's press the button again. See how it's got ouch in it? So I hit it, so it says ouch, right? Now what you can do with that, see those are the two files on there. I got, what did I do here? I got ball says yikes. I have yowls. I'm gonna say yikes. And this time, instead of saying item 1, so this is item 1 and item 2 of that ball says, I can put in here, instead of item 1 of ball says, I can do a random number. So I go 1 to 2. Now when I play, and we'll hide ball says here in a minute, so you don't see it ever. All right. Press the bar again. Ouch. Ouch. Yikes. Yikes. See how it's randomly generating that list? And I'm going to hide over here when I start this up. I don't want that list to come up. I don't want to see it. So I'm going to make sure under show, it's got all these things. What we're going to do is go to variables again. And we're gonna, let me do here, delete, show list, hide list. And let's try it again. We would hide it at the very beginning. We need to hide it with the other screens. So now it's gone. You're getting a score here, and you're randomly saying the ball saying, yikes, ouch. And you can put 60 things there. And you can get the ball so it's always talking like that. All right, everyone? Let me see any more crazy. No, you can't erase the file. No, you can erase the arrow. Yeah, I know I can. I'm not going to worry about it right now, Danny. What about it? And answer me. Oh, pardon me, Danny. Please would be good. Oh, okay. No, you didn't mean that for me. I was like, whoa, man. All right. You can erase the arrow. There is a way in this. Let me look in the code. I just was busy running all over here. Here's the pointer. Erase all drawings. There it is. It's all gone. You're absolutely right. Okay. Folk and Fokaroos and Fokaras. I'm either going to post that tonight or re-record it after blowing the X and Y using the move command like that. But in any case, make sure you know how to use variables, how to do lists, how to do values to change the values of the variables. And make sure you can get going on the game. I need to jump off right now. I will try to post it. I have scheduled another lab for next Monday if we need it. Don't feel like you have to come, but I will schedule it up there, and we'll try to answer any other questions about things. So I put another lab. It's Monday now. We don't have it Thursday, but we will have Monday another, maybe a more open lab. And I'll just show you, not trying to stop playing with the pawn game, but just doing different things with the code. All right, everybody, you take care now. Bye. Have a good one, everyone. Take care all. Bye-bye.